Assalamu alaikum. We are presenting a group presentation of project management course in a part of the master project management in Open University, Malaysia, facilitated by SIMAD University. We really appreciate our Ustad Muhammad Hassan Gele and postgraduate Dean Dr. Yunus for facilitating this master in Somalia. In this presentation, my colleague Abdrizaq Hassan will start.
Thank you, Najm Muhammad Hassan. Introduction of our assignment. Task 1 discusses a project management using appreciated techniques, work breakdown, structure, and schedule using a critical path diagram. Task 2 talks about description of selected project, such as project background, project chart, planning, management, and also assessment of all success. Task 3 talks about organizational structure for your project and the responsibility of selected project team member, which linked to your work breakdown structure. Task 4 talks about strategies, how the new existing project can adapt to the new normal way of in meaning of the project and to address situation like a pandemic. Background of the organization. The study is based on drill borehole project in a Puntland state that by STASOM organization with support IRC. STASOM was established in Somalia by 2000 by Somalian professional to address the most important sectors for the livelihood of Somalia community, including health, education, water, and youth livelihood program, as well as enable them to seek and to secure situation, jobs, and employment that has equitable access to all opportunities. The organization also registered in a Somalia federal government and respective regions that operates the organization has since completed more than 12 projects in all the region of Somalia. Description of a background chart. The project is a formulate needs as segmented by needs assessment considered by STASOM staff in collaborate with community members, women heads of household community elders, religion elders, and local administration and IDB committee members that accented the dry needs to save water, sanitation and facilities, and hydrogen promotion campaign in a Puntland state of Somalia, owing to impact of a vast success of all seasons. The mentioned B light has subjected the affected community members to search for safe water from permanent water boreholes located far away from their home. Thus compare safety of a woman and young girls when they are covered large distance to access water from the borehole. Project chart. Project chart is a short document that explains the project in clear wording for the high-level management. Project chart looks like this. Project name. Project date, the date where it started and where it will end. Goals and objectives. General objectives. Specific objectives. Deliverables. Assumptions and constraints. And the end is schedule and cost.
Thanks, Abdelrazak. We will continue also our presentation. Organizational structure is very important when it comes of project management, and this shows you how the organization will structure their activities and responsibilities. This is organizational structure. This shows you how their activities and staff will manage each other. Roles and responsibilities. Since the project have many staff management level, mid-management level, and also the employee, but we will focus this assignment only the site supervisor of drilling borehole as a case study of the project. The overall responsibility of the drilling team supervisor will work to ensure the borehole development and national standards as well as the best practice. The supervisor also discusses the work schedules, all parts including ministry, water and state level engineering, engaging recording to the necessary. For example, if any meeting in the government or state levels will attend, and also the cross-checking the selected companies and recommendation of hydrological report if needed. Also ensures all the safeties, and also ensures all designs and specifications in the project. The team supervisor activities are many, so he have a lot of responsibility. So those also the part of his responsibility and when he is in the field. When you complete the project responsibilities, in the project implementation, when it comes, the cost management is very important. The cost management is one of the pillars of the project management that relevant the domain on manufacturing or technology, construction, and this helps to create financial baseline against which the project can be benchmarked or the project cost realign the decision if required. The importance of cost management is easy to understand and to take the symbol of to take as real life examples. If you decide to construct the drilling borehole like our project, the first thing you need to set up is a budget allocation. If you not work the budget, you cannot proceed any step of the project management. When you have spent a lot of the project, the next step will divide like high-level budget expenses and take it smaller the item. For example, when you identify the cost budget of the project, you need to make a breakdown the costing, and this will help you to manage the cost project management. That's why it's very important the project cost management. While cost management is a continuous process, it will help you to split the 4 steps. The first, you need to plan the costs, and then estimate the costs, budgeting and control. For example, when you're done the planning, what you are doing, for example, the budgeting, and then you meet the estimates of every activities. When you're done, you need to budget in all these activities. When you budget finished, you need to control how to implement the budget process you are doing in the planning or the budgeting state. When you've done the cost planning and estimation of the budgeting, you need to follow these steps. and for the implementing efficient cost and practice of the project managers. When you explain the cost management, you need to have every project to make the estimation of all the activity. For example, our project drilling borehole and construction tank will have some activities. In this activity table, we make summary. This is not the all activity, but we make the summary of each activity by one activity. For example, the cost of the community mobilization. When you kick off the project, you need to engage the community mobilization event. So the community mobilization event, we need like 3,500. So you rearrange every activity by activity. And the next activity, for example, we need after community mobilization to conduct the survey to know the availability of the drilling hole locations and so on. So you need the budget allocation to make the table clearly like this, or the other form you need to use. After that, when you're done, you need, for example, as I explained before, the group by group. After that, you need each activity and work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure will help you to manage all activity as smaller one by one. So you don't need, and will help you to proceed. Like for example, the first activity was community mobilization. When you're doing or implementation of that activity, you need to make smaller activities like engaging community and booking venue, like that. So this will help you to work breakdown structure and one by one your activities allocated budget. As I explained now, this chart will help. This clearly illustrates how the activity one by one task or subtasks will be. For example, you need the task A, community mobilization. You need task A, the community mobilization. And for example, as I explained now, the last one, drilling borehole, you need like construction and started construction going. So this will help you to explain one by one and during the work breakdown structure. After you done work breakdown structure, you need like to make critical path method. Critical path method, it will help you. For example, every activities have a sequence of the implementation. For example, some activity you need to implement one by one, and some activity you cannot implement until you finish the previous the activity. And the critical path method will help you to arrange the activities implementation one by one, and at the end of the last to finish all activities. And this sequence will help you from, the longest path you can implement and shortest path you can implement your project. As I explained it now, the essential behind of the critical path analysis is you can't start the certain task until you finish. For example, our project now, drilling borehole construction. This Gantt chart will help you to arrange the timeline. For example, you will have one by one the start date, the start date and end finish, and also you can put the roles and responsibility, who's the responsible of each activities. And Gantt chart will help you also to make your timeline clearly. Every activity, start date and end date, and this you can do like Excel, and there is a lot of free apps you can make this chart, and this will help you the smooth implementation of your project. When it comes calculating critical path method, you are using, for example, the long time of your project or activity it takes place or implemented. So there is a 3 activity. Now we have a 3 group activity to implement our assignment. And the first one is, as I mentioned, is to conduct like community mobilization, and the second is conducting a baseline survey, and the last is a drilling borehole construction. So that all activities, for example, you can make one by one all the activity. Since we have a 3 activity, the example of our assignment, we can do only one an activity in a community mobilization event. So I need to explain how the critical path method works. So if I take 3 of them, maybe it will take a lot of sub-activities, and it will time consuming, and no one can understand easily. So the first one, I can make the first activity of community mobilization. So we can make sub-activities of community mobilization. I can make like give the letters to identify when I'm making calculation. So for example, I can use A, B, C, D, each of them. For example, project kickoff meeting. And then when you are conducting the community mobilization, you need the selection participant of the key members. So otherwise you cannot invite them. So, and this will help you to know which activity will be started and which activity you need to finish before they start the next activity. For example, project kickoff meeting is the fastest thing you can need to start. After that, you need to select the participant of your community event. And then after you complete the selection, you need to invite them. So, or the list of the participants selected. And after that, you need also a logistic arrangement. Logistic arrangement, by the way, you can start before completing the selection also, because of is a part of an arranging. For example, since this project was implemented in Bulan State, and the organization based in Mogadishu, he need like travel to Bulan and logistic arrangement for the flights, transportation, like stationery of the also the event. So you can start the parallel. And then the next, we need to book the venue of the event and also accommodation of our facilitator if they come in outside of the country or the inside of the country also. And then we need to hold a community mobilization event. And then after you conduct or the completed the community mobilization event, you need to submit the final report. So we will use this A up to G. In this table, it will help you to illustrate more to understand how it looks like and critical path index. For example, the first column, the activities, then duration. The next column is early start, early finish, late start, late finish, and so on. So, and this will help you to calculate each of them. Okay, after that, this also, the path will help you, for example, each activities, how the link one by one. And for example, as I mentioned it before, the critical path index shows you every activities and how the sequence of activity to be implemented. The first activity and the second activity will be finish the first activity. So the first and the second and the up to C, you need to finish one by one. When you come to the E and D, you can make parallel together. And then the E and F also will be sequenced. So when you see this illustrates or when you see this, you can easily understand which activity first and which activity is the end. And so we have a two paths here. And the first path, we have A, B, and D, F, C. And the next like that, because we have a two paths in here. To know the shortest path and longest path, you can add one by one, and then you will get which path is short and which path is the longest. And the longest path will take 30 days, and the shortest path will take 25 days. After that, we discuss now the strategic knowledge and area. There is a 10 knowledge area in a project management. The first one is a project integration management, scope management, cost management, quality management, project resource management, communication also, the risk project management, procurement management, and stakeholders management. All these project management in our assignment, when it comes to this pandemic situation in a coronavirus, will affect all these 10 knowledge area. And when you are implementing the project management, you have to take careful. Your project implementation is very successful and smooth. Otherwise, for example, if the project in the pandemic area is an outbreak for the COVID-19, you need to have a lot of expense for the coverage or a lot of expense for the mask, and also sometimes the movement of the area will be restricted. This will delay the project implementation, and all these effects will affect all those 10 areas in your project. Conclusion and summary. Our assignment was based on one of the project, humanitarian project implemented by StarSwam organization and funded by ARC. And this project was implemented in Pulan State rural area. And the project was drilling hole and construction of the tank. And that also is a part of community contracting and also the survey. In our assignment, we discussed how that project was analyzed as a cost analysis and how work breakdown structure is applied and how it's used the critical analysis. And lastly, we also discussed how the pandemic situation will affect it in strategic planning of the project management. Thank you so much. This is the end of our assignment presentation.